Okay, so it is time for a new episode of Stump the Chump, and I hope that you have enjoyed them. And I'm sorry that it did take so long between the last one and this one. So this question came from a current client. She's doing writing a book about some things in World War II, and she needed specifically to know about some brownstones in New York in the 1930s. And so I'm going to show you how we found what she was looking for. So the first thing I did is very simple. I did a Google search, New York brownstones, 1930s. So a couple things to be aware of here. So when you're searching in Google, it is fine to put lots of keywords like this one, but it matters what order you put them in. And it also matters that you don't use stop words. I mean, not technically because they're stop words, but it just keeps it from being cluttered up. So you notice that I didn't put a question mark. I didn't put like any extra words in here. Sorry about that. And also, there is no apostrophe between the 1930 and the S for 30s. That's not the way that is written. So that also helps. So anyway, but another thing that did help is when I started looking at the results that I got, I did actually go look at this one and I liked it, but it didn't have what we were looking for. But then when I came down to this one, and this is where it is always a good idea to kind of remember previous searches that you've done and other research that you've done, because I had actually used this website, Ephemeral New York, before with another client who was working on a book about New York. Hers book was set in a different time period, but this is a great website with a lot of the history of New York, especially buildings and map. Anyway, so I remembered this, and lo and behold, when I went to this website, it had what we were looking for. So anyway, this particular entry had pretty much exactly what she was looking for, and then there are also some other entries. So all that just to say, um, you know, it's a good idea, and I always tell my students this when I used to teach high school. It's a good idea sometimes to keep a search log and to kind of keep a list of sites that you've used before, or just kind of in your, maybe even just remember it when you're thinking about things that you've known, because this particular website, I came across it in a podcast called The Gilded Gentleman, and so it just all the research that you do, listening to history podcasts, doing searches, it all kind of goes together, and so that way you can find a reputable source that's going to give you good information about the thing that you really need to know. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Stump the Chump, and send me questions if you'd like to have your question answered.